Well, our speaker this morning, we had the opportunity to meet her at the Whole Life Festival, maybe 2 festivals ago. And she's such an enthusiastic, excited person about being able to come to Adam and share her thoughts and her feelings and all the things that she has learned. I love the fact that we when we talked today, or when we talked before, we were trying to find the perfect day for her, and it just worked out Mother's Day. And so she had the opportunity to come up to Anchorage and spend a day just all to herself, enjoying just being who she is. And what's that?
Autonomous.
Yes, isn't that nice?
Wonderful.
So anyway, her topic is so apropos to exactly what everybody is going through now, which is change and transformation. And so I just want to read a little bit about Michelle Jermain. 13 years ago, she finally found her misplaced tool bag and has been filling it and honing her skills to better understand the whole human experience. She says, with me, I bring everything, energy and understanding from our bones to how we connected to the universe. She provides services for clients to find balance and whole whole health, through multi-level self-discovery. So today, she's going to share with us a little bit more about transformation and self-discovery. So please give Michelle McCoy Jermain a warm welcome.
Thanks, guys. Hello and good morning, Adam family. Thank you for having me.
Glad you're here.
Use my notes here. So, I'm a special kind of kid. And what I'm going to do to kind of focus us all in together, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me here. Basically, this is like a whole great big huge group session where we all support each other. How does that sound?
Good.
Is that good?
Sure.
Okay. Yep. My initial information for Dawn says, I will be providing a space for us all to discuss current shifts and changes both personally and universally, with a goal to reach a new understanding of balance on an energetic level. And I asked everybody to have their questions ready and talk points, because this can be a pretty big subject, but what I've noticed is I can't make notes and I can't read off of things. I just have to arrive where I'm at when I'm there, like all of us, right? So basically what we do is we kind of just blow up everything and then we bring it all back in and we shift it. And that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
On an energetic level. Okay, so I would like to start out with some questions for all of you. So we're going to do this by a show of hands, I think, and then I want examples. So, this might be a silly question, but we're going to get us all in here. Who is aware of the shift? That's what I like to call it. A show of hands. Who is aware of the shift? Okay. Does anybody have an example for me or feel comfortable sharing what we're going to go through the senses? Who is hearing the shift? What kind of things are we hearing?
Maybe tones in your ears sometimes.
People have more higher frequency awarenesses happening in the ear. What else are we hearing?
The birds. The birds.
Because spring, right? Or do you notice something different?
More than just spring.
Okay. Can you, I feel what you're saying, but can you explain it with more words?
Well, they're almost like, I have a yard full of trees, so I have lots of birds in there. And it's almost like they're in concert.
You can hear them differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, what's your first name again? Anne. When you said the birds, the birds, I could feel it up here. So I can feel like your connection with the birds, right? The way that you express the birds. So, anybody, Sherry?
Yeah, I was thinking that I'm noticing different kinds of birds, but I'm really feeling it a lot in nature. I was thinking where I'm a feeler,
Mm-hmm.
so, and seer, like.
Right, so we're going through all of the, so the next one
I just
would
see it
be.
everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
one.
So the next one would be who sees it, who feels it, are you feeling it, who's feeling it?
And seeing.
Definitely feeling it.
Okay,
I was hoping to share that I also have trees in my yard and, bird feeder. And anyway, the birds, I swear, are chirping louder now because of all the noise maybe of the city. When you think about all our drone of traffic noise and, everything, the birds, I swear, have different calls. Now I use an app called Merlin, where you can download all the bird information, and if you do a sound recording, it'll identify the bird for you, which is really neat. But I swear, the birds are chirping louder, and then at the end of their call, they're adding extra songs, like, a little.
and the app is like, I don't know.
Oh, no,
Oh,
it helps, it's very helpful.
that's good,
It-
because if
to
I was the
identify
app,
them.
I would be like, this is all new to me.
Yeah.
They
I
used
was
to be just these birds, but now they're these birds, and I'm not quite sure.
Right.
Michelle, I actually hear voices in my head.
Okay, so you've gotten more dialogue,
Absolutely.
okay?
Yeah.
Sherry, how are you
Me too,
feeling?
Mother Nature just,
You too?
Hey, that's why I'm late this morning. Mother Nature was having her talk with me and wouldn't let me go.
I'm loving this, you guys. Sherry, how are you feeling it? What's with the feelings that you're noticing?
There's a lightness,
Lightness?
and I think communications are more open with people, because people,
Oh,
they
that's
know
so
or not,
beautiful to
they're
hear.
opening,
Yeah.
they're noticing, something's going on, they're not quite, there's still that cognizant dissonance, but people are really away from it. You can't, it's so powerful, you have to
Right.
be dead to not see.
Anybody else feeling it in a really obvious manner?
The groundedness, much different than maybe months before,
Mm-hmm.
where things don't disturb me as much as they used to.
Hey, is your anxiety better?
Yeah.
Mine too. It's a little crazy. I keep noticing, like, oh, right? I'm not freaking
Yeah,
out
yeah.
like I would be.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
And even right here.
Which is a relief.
Right.
That's a
Because it
shift.
takes a lot of work to feel
It
that way,
does.
huh?
That's a big shift.
That is a big shift.
That's-
Have you noticed it as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The shift is happening.
Yeah. Right. We're not in the middle of a shift. We're on the other side of it, and everybody in all walks of life are trying to figure out how to do that.
I used to wake up in the middle of the night and all the things would start spooling.
Yeah.
And now I wake up and I'm like, still gone. I'm just waking up. That's all it is. I'm just waking up. And then none of all of the stories, and they're just gone.
Yeah, I've
That's-
noticed
that's
deeply. I've
so
noticed the histories. Like it's old.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone. It's not even like there's a new
It's not
there's
bad.
a
It's not
new
good.
veil,
It's just not
and
bad.
it's on the other side.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. What are you gonna say, my friend?
Oh, well, I've noticed it in my dreams, and my poetry is just going crazy. I have to keep a notebook constantly. Anyways, but it's so beautiful, and my ancestors are coming through, and I think my aunt is downloading poems and helping me with that, and my mom and dad are coming through a lot, which Dad hardly ever comes through.
Right.
But wow, it's really fun.
Really.
And they're all
okay.
fun dreams, they're just, I wake up and I'm just like, oh wow, I wanna go back to sleep.
Right.
But
It's a
whatever.
really, that liminal space has been my super favorite space to be lately. Like, oh, this is how. For a while, I was getting this weird vibration feeling around me, zoop, 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 and at some point, I realized, oh, that's how I travel, right? Like, we're in a new place now. Like this, I'm like, oh, this is normal now. My friend.
And so after seeing many, many sunsets before this last, day before yesterday. Coming from a drumming circle, I saw the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen, in my whole life. It's something I've only seen perhaps in a picture or something, but the sunset had a double on, while it was right going down. We were going through an elevation, and as we got to the elevation, there was two rainbows around the sun as it was going down, and I had never seen that before.
So what what I hear you saying is that it's so much easier to recognize how ridiculously magical this place is. The beauty is
really-
off the hook.
They don't even have to work,
No.
you have to work at it, that's what I got.
Gas in the car.
Yeah, that's what,
Well,
Mother
you
Nature
do though,
told me
right?
today,
You
keep
have to
working
move.
at it,
You have to
but-
move out of your own way, right? You have
Yeah,
to
I
be.
couldn't.
You have to trust. You have to be peaceful, and then you can see.
And I saw it, and it was like a tunnel into, Forever Everland or something.
I believe you. I'm totally there with
Never seen it before.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one who recognizes the amazing blessing that we've given ourselves, placing ourselves in Alaska during this time. I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but I do know that, well, we'll get to that. So we still have taste and smell and knowing. Give me examples of tasting the shift, smelling the shift, and knowing the shift. It's okay if there's no examples. Yes, my friend.
The mental construct of separation,
Mm-hmm.
which encompasses, of course, the knowing, but the others also,
Yeah.
is becoming more porous.
Malleable?
Porous.
Okay, explain.
You're you, I'm me,
Mm-hmm.
and now there's this porousness of, I don't know where one ends and the other starts.
Agreed.
Okay, with all things, touch, sight, sense.
Yesterday, when I was driving here, I saw that blue thing that I showed you in the picture in front of Lily. I was looking into it somewhere in here, and I could see. So at some point, I was given, and I think I may have talked about it a little bit last time, like this, the prisms, the globe prisms of crystals, and they have all the different cuts in them.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I was shown like the Akashic library, let's call it, to where in each of the prisms is like this whole story of memory of a lifetime. And then after that, this is a couple years ago, after that I realized that, each snowflake holds the same thing and the water holds the same thing. So basically we're just like walking through these stories and these memories. And so yesterday that kind of built on itself in the manner that I could see like I think it was octagonal or hexagonal shapes that are all ourselves, our stories, but you're just constantly walking through like I don't even think I'm gonna be able to verbalize it. It's a picture. But it's a picture of understanding of my story and your story and how porous these stories are. That was a great word. And how effortlessly we can move through and affect each other, touch each other, it actually leads us to kind of down where we're going, which is like the collective consciousness. There we go. Collective consciousness of it.
A microcosm, macrocosm, where the biggest
Yes.
and the small, they just blend together, whatever your imagination is, and then you start walking into it.
Exactly. That's where we're at. That is where we're at. So we have gone through kind of the types of awareness. Do you know what I love here is that you guys gave me all positive awarenesses. Nobody talked about the people freaking out everywhere. It's easy to show that way. No, it's a little easy to be like, okay, we're cool over here. I'm sorry that it's scary, for
Or
you.
don't even pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even realize, again, with, here in Alaska, we're filtered by mountains and rivers and lakes and trees and more mountains and an ocean. Like, we're filtered. We're very filtered. I did not even realize how our world, on some levels, was functioning until I sent out a group text to friends and family and clients. I sent out 3 group texts, which I'll never do again. I apologize ahead of time. I'm like, it was a nightmare. To tell people that I'm changing my phone number. Officially have my 907 number. And one of the groups completely freaked out. Somebody said something about hacking. Somebody had my people that have known me for a while call me Shelly. It's spelled a certain way. There was this other Shelly in the group who started freaking out, and then somebody saw that Shelly didn't spell their name like I did, so they started freaking out. And like pretty soon everybody, the last text in that, after many phone calls of helping people feel better, that was the last text was weeks ago, and this morning I woke up to a person like screaming over the text about being included in this group text. I was like, exactly. The whole entire, not just the text, like the contact. Wow. Okay. So I think we're kind of all on the same page as far as beginning to be stepping further into / becoming way more aware of that consciousness collective and how easily it's moving now.
Something interesting that I was learning yesterday in an online seminar with some awakening souls was the concept of, everything is energy, as we are learning, and there's the thought that there is magnetic and there's like electrical charge. And when we're up here in our heads and getting in a tizzy, we're engaging ourselves with this charge that, like this group text. But if we go down to our hearts and let go of that, we become more magnetic. And it's a different way of using our energy. And our meditation yesterday was to let go of those things that have this charge with us.
Yes. Well, yeah, the things that, and that's how we walk now, right? We feel when we're talking about this collective group consciousness and what we can walk into together, co-creating through balance is what I call it. We're all taking the responsibility now to go, oh, that's a trigger. Why is that triggering me? Why do I want to get all involved in that with all these feelings? Where is that? How do I what is the salve for that? Or how can I leave this behind altogether, right? Another language, energetic language to relate to that would be that when you understand energetically how to be fully aware of the body and having a relationship with the body, then all of the chakra can be aligned. And when the chakra are aligned and becoming more and more free of those belief systems that cause those reactions, then we can see better, we can hear better, the words that we say are felt instead of heard. We receive love. It's super easy to give love. Receiving, that's the challenge. We every single sense that we have goes, up. We hear better. We're tuned in. With this understanding, I have all the clairs. we all have all the colors. It just depends on what kind of way that you want to experience here. And it's nobody else's business how you want to experience here. So it's interesting because we all have these own little experiences. Like if Brittany was entered into my energy system for 2 minutes, she would be like, what in God's name is this place? Like, what planet am I on? Because all of the colors, not because it's me, anybody, all of the colors, all of the sounds, all of the tastes, everything that you guys look like, you might not even look human through Brittany's understanding of what human looks like, right? So I'm like, we're all our own planets with the way that we're experiencing this thing. But again, we are understanding on much better levels, my friend, that we're also all the same planet on some level. So how do we walk forward, learning how to co-create through balance, and that is one of the parts, right? Is me being able to be who I am, you being able to be who you are, you being able to be who you are, and what do we need to come into full acceptance of that? I don't know about other people, but it's taken me looking through multiple different filters of behaviors of any under the neurodivergent umbrella symptoms and things like that in order for me to become compassionate enough to support myself to be here on this earth, period. So that is something that we've all been doing for ourselves, right? And that reflects in the manner that now, as we move forward, we get to decide, all of us, we get to decide what the new is. That Dawn and I were just talking, and I love the fact that we were already on the same page, right? We have pioneers in this room. We're all pioneers. These guys were pioneers back in the day, and they built a foundation, or they built upon a foundation. They're like, on some level, the equivalent of the kings and queens who had the pyramids created, right? However that worked. Like, they built the space for us to learn. Now, you have people like me somewhere in the middle. I realize that there's this bridge that has to be created. And then you have all of the new kids coming in. And all of this, the information and ways that the new kids are is, I don't have a reference point. These guys nobody has a reference point. We used to all be able to be like, oh, let's go to the library. Let's go to our library. Let's remember what this said. We're all in a place now where we're all pioneers. We have no reference point anymore. You know what's super exciting about that is that we all get to create it now. How do you want it to be? I want it to be like this. Do you? So how do I do that? Every day I do my best, my daily practice, to arrive in a manner where I'm just walking in going, okay, what's happening over here? And the people that come to me or the people that are there, they get to be exactly who they are. And I get to be exactly who I am because the compassion for myself in that space matters just as much as it does for the other people, period. And if people aren't ready for me in that space, great. I will go to my own space or another space, or if it triggers something in me, I'll go sit with myself. Like, really, do you need to feel that way? What is this really about, right? It's a daily practice of how do we most, like, the word vulnerable wants to come. How do we most vulnerably exist together? How is it that when we're in a group, because we do it naturally, right? We're human. There's maybe 15 people in here. We as humans, we put our mask on and we walk in. Who's going to be here today? What kind of behaviors are they going to have? How am I going to feel? Is the room going to be warm? Some of us have those feelings way more openly than others. But what if we all knew that we could go into a space? There are probably people here today because they're not here today because they're having a bad day, and they don't want people to see them having a bad day because they can't be that person they think they're supposed to be. What if we all decided that we could create such a safe place for each other that I could come no matter how I felt or what was going on, and I could fall apart for a second, and somebody could love me for a second, and then we could get on with our day,
Thank you, Mother Earth.
right? Like that's where we're at. This is what that's where this balance comes from. And I'm not talking about weight. I'm talking about, I think the Chinese made the yin and the yang.
Yes, that's
I'm talking about the balance.
exactly.
We get to be that.
Exactly.
We get to be that. I wanted to paint for you guys so badly today because much like my friend here who's got the poetry happening, the energy paintings are insane. They're all coming out. But I can't like be with you and talk to you while I'm doing this, so it made me really sad. But how much time do I have?
20 minutes.
So questions, and then okay, so let me make sure there isn't a thing about that. Okay, no. Are there questions? I know this is a lot of stuff, but are there questions? Is anybody having questions? Or observations?
I have a comment.
Or comments?
Well, I had a beautiful experience with a 10-year-old grandchild who was homeschooled, and I was teacher for the day.
Yay.
No, I don't want to be the teacher.
Yeah.
But we had a great conversation, and the something about age. He's 10, and we were combining some math. I'm going, well, how many days do you think you've lived? And I'm going, do the math, He goes, so he kind of did it, and he goes, gosh, 3,650 days. I'm going, wow. I says, well, how many days have I lived? And he took the math, and he goes, 36,000. God, Grandma. I said, you know what's interesting about that? I'm going to live to 93, so what's the difference? We figured out I've got about 9,000 days left to live, right? And I said, I better get to living every day, because each day I die and I live again.
Dude.
And I get a chance to live every morning.
That's what I'm
And
talking
he
about.
went, yeah, and it was like a real reality check. But when you do the math and you think about how many days you've lived and how many days you've wasted, or how many days you've just, maybe no day is a waste, maybe not. But
I get that.
Each day is a lesson and a new beginning every morning, every day.
Yes.
So
Every
it was
day.
just a very fascinating reality
Well, and
check for us.
that's how we approach our children now, right? We teach them what we were not given, the space that we were not given. We teach them that space. I have a 5-year-old, and it's my job to teach him how to be a balanced masculine and feminine person, meaning he's allowed to rip things up. He's allowed to provide for his family by bringing home the animal meat and all of the stuff that he has to do, but he's also very allowed to recognize the gift of that animal and give his children hugs, like care, have the caring part of it. Not nurturing, because we all know the feminine is the natural nurturer, but that part that each man has inside of him of love that hasn't been allowed to shine yet, but it is now.
It's a sense of receptivity. It's not so, if you just, and any man that's looking to embrace that feminine, that yin and yang part of themselves as a whole being, that it's a level of receptivity that one can be to their own being, because in their own being they're, like you said, a yin and a yang situation going on all the time.
Yes.
And just to be receptive to whatever that means to any man
On that day, at
Right.
that time, exactly.
is a guidance where you're not going outside yourself to, look for that when it's all going on
Yeah,
at the same time, and you choose your emotion
right.
on how you, emote between those two, being a projector or receptor.
Yeah, and then maybe there's that place where those two become
Hey.
one,
Hallelujah.
right? Yeah, exactly. Any other, and then, well, so has anybody had, again, my 5-year-old is asking questions, like, how did we even, he'll be like, Mom, how did we even get here? He doesn't ask how was the earth created or who's God or any of that. He doesn't ask like little questions. He goes, how did we even get here? The whole entire thing.
Follow your ancestors.
Don't remember.
Right. I'm always like, I was like, people, there's a lot of thought processes around that. And so I'm assuming that we've all had examples through our children of kind of what they're walking into even. I've met some amazing apps of whole life when I was there a couple of whole lives ago. Literally. Very literally. There was this child there. I'm gonna say child, young adult. I think he was just turning 18, and I recognized his mother because I had sat with her before, and we said hi to each other, and she says, "Hey, I was gonna come sit with you. My son is, trying to figure out which college to go to," and this kid kind of emerged from behind her, and his smile was like this, and he just had all this wild curly hair, and I was like, who is this kid? And we talked, and he said something about whatever he said, it doesn't even matter. But I told him, like, I don't know what this means, but you're here for me, not just me. You're here for us. I knew that right away. This kid was like walking magic. And I said, what is it that you want, that you're going? He's going to like Ivy League college. What are you going to college for? And he said, I want to get into politics.
Whoa.
And I just about, I happy danced all over the place in the middle of that. So, yay. I think that's my whole point. Is like, don't forget that it's yay now. Everything's
Right.
yay. All of it.
So what you're saying is that these little people are coming in with higher frequencies.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But
And
it's,
trying to fit
a lot
into
of it's showing itself. So for instance, my 19-year-old is a highly sensitive person, which is recognized in psychology. But I read in psychology today that rather than putting it under the it is under the neurodivergent umbrella, I believe, but they're talking about it not being a disorder as much as an evolution, even though highly sensitive person has been around forever. We all know. And then the other thing that my daughter is being treated for is ADHD, and the amount of anxiety that we had to get through in order to even find that ADHD symptoms was insane. So the antenna that this person is, they don't even know how to be here right now. It's like they're aware of all of the things, but right now have to just do this in order to make it. And then times that by millions of kids right now.
So what are some of the ways that you're sharing your light and love wisdom? Like being here today for one, but how to these people that need that, our energy?
Every day, every situation, every place, whether it's just standing and listening quietly, or whether people are asking for my help. I do have my studio space. There's people are looking up massage, they're looking up massage on Google Maps and calling me. There's nowhere in do I claim to do massage.
Massage degree.
Weird.
Right, I have it now listed under energetic mental, how do they word that? I'm gonna look at it because it's important. But so
So do you tell them that? Do you have a conversation with them?
oh yeah, they ask what do you do? They're like, I was looking a lot. This is what it sounds like a lot. I was looking for a massage, but then I saw your ad, and I think I might need you.
Okay.
So I have right now my business is basically called Only Live Reiki because Reiki is the foundation, right? But that grows in its own. But right now on my Google Maps, I have Only Live Energy, Mental Health, Physical Health, Spiritual Health is what it's called. So people look up massage and they're like, wait a minute.
We may need some awareness.
Yeah, like we probably need fuller care. So I'm starting to get a lot more people that I heard you saying earlier about Reiki being evil. I am starting to get a lot more people that are like, so what is this?
Yeah, what is this?
What's going on over here? You know?
Show me.
Yeah, which is great.
A new language.
Right, and of course everything I do is available over the phone too. So what happens is in my everyday life, I am this person. This is who I am. Whether you're reaching out to me over the phone, I've noticed that I'm putting prayers in a lot of places for a lot of people, but it doesn't take away from me because I just put it there and I let it go and I watch the miracles happen, and we're all doing that right now. And I think, yeah, the more that you know, it's there, the more it's there. Right? That's where that trust, last time we talked about trust. It starts with trust. I think that is, and so let's see, this is how it's been happening to kind of reflect, regarding Adam and Adam's newness. I've been sitting with it for a while, and it kind of dawned on me, which might sound really basic, but I didn't really stop to think on a physical level about how I've been so busy watching the rest of the world freak out about the shift over here that I didn't realize that our spiritual communities also are shifting. They're being shaken. Luckily, we have spirit underneath our feet, or whatever you want to say, so that it's less scary. We have way better of an understanding. Some of us, I don't know about you guys, but some of us knew that this was going to happen forever. This is not surprising. And thank goodness we're finally here. And so, you guys feel you're going to have to go into the library and move all the books around. You know what happens energetically when you do that? Yeah. And we're shaking off the ashes. We're getting we're done in a good way. So that we can take all of the stuff that we know and we can put it in a new way. We don't have to change the stuff. We just change our relationship with it. Simply by picking it up and going, I remember you, old friend. Right? And so while it feels unknown, while it feels crazy, I'm glad that everybody is in such a good space with it, but at the same time, how necessary to rattle the bones a little bit. Rattle the bones, clean the bones. It's going to be awesome. It already is. The way that I'm seeing it personally, I happen to be in an office space right across from a person who is big in the Kenai Peninsula community, and he brought me a person who needed care, that was pregnant when I saw her, and also diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. He brought her to me. She works at a specific place on the Kenai Peninsula that I had to call the other day because this same person suggested, hey, you need to go put your artwork here at the visitor center. Call these people. That person answered the phone. Hi. They said, I want to come get more care from you. And I said, I know things are hard financially right now. We'll work it out. Don't worry about it. She said, what if we trade? What if I pay for you for your year membership to this place? It's the Chamber of Commerce. And I'll do all the advertising of your space.
Wow.
Right.
No, we're not gonna do that. That's, of course.
For 2 sessions.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, but like this is our new relationship now, right? Right.
Wow.
So remembering, and I had a sign made for my business for the first time ever, and I called 2 friends. I didn't call them because people don't really do that anymore. What did I do? I texted. I was like, hey, what do you think about this? Anyways, and they were both like, they were more invested in it than I was. And so now I have this beautiful sign because one of them designed it and one of them had the words. So I think letting yourself be supported, recognizing the gifts, letting ourselves all really begin to receive the way that we've been so afraid to receive forever. It's time. So I do have one more thing, if anybody doesn't have anything else. You okay? I know. Let's do it.
I have been experiencing the shift different than everybody else in this room, from what everybody has said. And I am exhausted.
Yeah, it's hard.
I feel, instead of standing in the light as everybody is talking about, I am feeling more like a filter for everything and everyone, and I am tired. And while I know on so many levels that it is like this purge for everyone as we shift, it is tiring, and these daily practices that I try to do to feel grounded or to feel better are not doing anything. They're not working. I'm distracted. But at the exact same time, this incredible awareness with certain things is happening. Like every day something happens where I have this awareness and it connects dots for myself, which I know that as we heal ourselves, we heal the collective kind of a thing. And this awareness coming up brings in these moments. And even for myself, I'm noticing that these moments where I do try and do something to feel like I'm just breathing, I'm harsh about myself on those moments, even like the energy of it. And I'm noticing, like if I'm in public and the freakouts and I notice it, and I'm like, most of the time I'm like, well, that's not my story, or I'm not trying to allow it to sponge into me, but I'm noticing it that I'm surrounded by it. Even like at my caretaking shift, like on one level, I'm so grateful that she has so much family that they call her and they stop by all the time, but hearing her talk about the same stuff 5 times a day because she's telling everybody about it, because the family dynamic of everybody knowing everybody's business, or grandson coming in and then complaining about his day or whatever, is just instantly putting me over the edge of just exhaustion. And I'm so tired, and I'm just tired. Like, I'm just so tired of trying so hard to be in the light or to have this perfection idea of just trying to be better than I feel like I'm supposed to be right now. And it's exhausting.
Thank you for sharing. I'm sorry. I know. Thank you for being the person who's brave enough to speak up. Because this is how a lot of people are experiencing it right now. So what I would want to ask you is, how are you getting support for yourself? What are you doing to choose yourself? Besides beating yourself up about not being whatever perfect is.
When I'm trying to meditate, it's not working almost, if that makes sense. Like, I know what it feels like to feel that connection during meditation, you know, going for walks and taking the dogs out. But even then, my brain, it just won't stop spinning. Whether it's about others or myself or filtering or knowing what's going on and feeling the air and then being like, wow, it's so, and at the same time, I have moments of this gratitude of, it's so beautiful and I'm so grateful and we're here and the birds, I can hear it. I hear the difference of the talking. It's as if they're talking to each other about things that are going on. And it's like, I may not speak bird, but it's like, I know that that's what's going on right now. You know, like
So
and
I'm going to ask you again, in the spirit of what we're talking today, which is all of us being for each other, how are you getting yourself support outside of yourself?
Who do you call? Who do you call?
Who do you talk to? Do you go get a pedicure?
I do once a month. I get a mani pedi, and during that, it feels really amazing. And then it's like I walk out, and it's like back to whatever.
Yeah.
It's like the moments of peace are moments, but they're not lasting. It's like there's a moment, and the other day I did something where I just felt like I was breathing, and then I was like harshing on myself because I may know other people may not totally support that or something, and I'm like, but this is about me breathing.
Yeah.
And that awareness connected all these other dots for me, which was really great.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, so I just need to just breathe. You know, like that was it for a moment of the breathing, and then the breathing moments, like I said, are just these moments. The piece of during the pedicure and the mani is great, and then it's like the moment is gone.
Mm-hmm. And who do you talk to for your mental and emotional health?
I want to talk to David a lot.
Right, but it's not his job.
No, it's not. I mean, he's amazing at what he does in our relationship.
Supporting you is his job, but
You know,
like being your mental health counselor or mental health guide is not necessarily his. I had to learn that.
Yeah.
That I can't keep making it other people's jobs. Yeah. It doesn't mean you don't deserve support. It's just sometimes we have to figure out something more constructive to do with it instead of telling the same story every day. Like the people that are bugging you for telling the same story every day.
Start some seeds.
Right. You understand how it works?
Yeah,
So
I
here's
do,
the thing.
and I get.
Here's the thing. I would be sitting where you're sitting if I didn't understand the things that I understand now. And for me, and this might trigger some people, but I came into this world being a victim or choosing as soon as I was born, I gave away my power. And I continued to give away my power until I was about 30 years old. I started claiming it back. And at some point, as above, so below, I had to stop being the victim of spirituality as well. This is for you. I know. And you know what you're allowed to do? That's really beautiful. Is go, if this is supposed to be for me and not to me or at me, then what is it?
Stomp.
Do it. Yell. Use the F word. It's amazing.
That's fucked if anybody.
Yes.
So, that was a wonderful rendition of what I've been going through.
Thank
to
you.
try and regain my power. I've been hiding for 78 years.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I didn't want to be wrong. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
So I built such a little tiny cave for myself to be in.
Yes.
And now the cave has been blown away and I'm sitting here completely nude.
Yes. Exposed.
And
I got goosebumps.
so one of the things I do is just give up.
You surrender.
Right. The word is surrender. But the whole idea is that I build this whole thing about what's going to happen today. And I've learned to turn around and go back to bed. And it's like, what? All those people, all that. And you know what? Nothing happens. Nobody dies. Maybe somebody's disappointed, but I did what I needed to do for me. And I gave up fighting. I came up fighting myself. And this morning I read very clearly, until the head and the heart are joined together, they're going to fight with each other in a sense of imbalance.
Yeah.
So to
Some
just
people call it ego. There's a really old school thought about separating from the ego or ego death, and what I found is that is very much who we are, and the more we can baby that and hug it and let it know it's safe and that it belongs, the more that mind and that heart come together. Yeah. That's where the self-compassion comes from. Like, you're not allowed to talk to my friend like that.
yeah. Could have him arrested.
Thank you. What were you?
So I was having a thought for our dear Britannia, and it's not related to spirituality, but because I work in the caregiver industry, and when I have staff that are stressed out, I say, reach out for the employee assistance program. They've got 3 free counseling sessions, so you don't have to worry about paying for counseling. Sometimes those 3 sessions are the best counseling you'll ever get, because this person comes out of nowhere and you're like, maybe spirit just sends them to, work with you
Hold
right
that
then.
space.
I have a colleague that said, oh my gosh, if I had known about this sooner,
Yeah, burnout is real.
Yeah.
And so it might not surprise you to know that my very first job until I was 22, my very first job until I was 22 years old was caregiving. Dementia. Constant burnout. Like staying in bed except for to go to work. Okay. So, and then the healthcare field for the next until I started this 13 years ago. So what I had to learn, the reason why it's been such a strong tool for me to learn about myself as an energetic being is because it's that understanding that helps me make the good boundaries with life, so that I'm not afraid that I'm gonna get in trouble. So that I'm not afraid that somebody's gonna be mad at me or not understand me. I have to understand myself so well that it's okay if you don't understand me. That's really hard, but it's possible. If I hadn't ended up in whatever I ended up in to be standing here right now, I would not be here. You're brave. You're all very brave.
It's brave to be human.
Yeah, courageous.
I offer you what I was given to help me. I'm hypersensitive, right? So cutting the cords. You have the sword. You're the sword master, and you cut these cords around you. And you cut them around, and very specifically. And then you cut the core out the bottom and put a protective shield around you. Boom. And then the energies deflect that are coming at you, and you're protecting yourself and grounding. made a huge difference in my life.
Another way to do that would be just to make sure you're showering after work and just intentionally washing it off
Yeah.
and saying, you know, everything that's not mine down the drain right now. And then, but then you have to let yourself. So some of us are afraid, at least subconsciously, that if we don't carry other people's stuff, that we're not good. Stop it. I do all of this over the phone. You know that.
What's
Quit
your phone number?
cheating yourself. Thank you. Thank you guys. This is what I'm talking about. Real is my favorite. Phil?
Brittany, if you'd like some help with that, I know magic.
Phil knows magic. Okay, I have a closing if that's okay.
And so,
Yes?
one quick thing, cutting the cords is such a good technique, and it's worked so well, for me through my life, and what really helped was cauterizing. Don't, when you cut something, make sure you cauterize it.
I'm not going to, I have no judgment about cord cutting. In fact, I use it in my practice.
Right, so do I.
But if we're gonna be talking about it, there needs to be education around the fact that sometimes it is not time to disconnect a cord. And if you disconnect a cord that does not need to be disconnected, it will come back sevenfold. Okay? I don't care if you don't want to deal with that person anymore. If you haven't dealt with your stuff about that person, too bad. Okay? So, anything that is not of me or of my energy field. Any core unauthorized, unneeded, old cords. Unauthorized, unneeded, and old. For everybody here right now. This is, while all this was happening, sorry.
And it's springtime.
And it's springtime, rebirth. While all this is happening, since Dawn and I talked and everything already comes into shape of everything and all the thought processes and whatever is coming to, by the time I get here and I'm up here going, blah, 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 blah. Right, exactly. That's right. This guy knows. In the meantime, I was re-gifted with a song that we all know, hopefully, and I realized on a whole nother level that this person that wrote this song already knew. So in the spirit of us all being our own prisms, coming together to make our huge reflection.
Let's give her a nice big hand.